Well, I'll give you the story that you would like. It was first generation Raidos, and it was homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
We had just beaten Fort Lewis. Viciously, I might add. They deserved it. And we had left the game and were very excited about life. We were back in the home domicile of Rait, watching movies, watching cartoons, watching whatever it was that happened to be on the television. And myself and Julian and my roommate Alicia and the man that Alicia was seeing at that time, his name was Eric, who we still speak to, but he's now dating a different girl, also within the family. The only time that happened. Successfully. Date one girl in the family, switch.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's the only time that happened successfully. It's happened several times, only once successfully.
Funny thing is, you don't read in between space.
Yeah, well. But it was myself and Julian and Alicia and a boy named Eric. And we decided that we were hungry. And so we left the dorm on foot, as we always did. We walked a brothel load. Oh, Heather. We left the dorm on foot, as we always did, and walked in the direction of McDonald's. That was our original decision for food. And I stopped the group, and I looked at them. And that isn't odd for me to just stop while walking with a group of people and wait for them to turn around and look at me. But I stopped, and they turned, and they looked as they did. And I said, "Are you guys up for walking a little bit farther than McDonald's to get cheeseburgers?" They gave me a questioning glance, and I said, "I want a chicken sandwich, a good chicken sandwich. Let's go to Villiage Inn," which is a couple more blocks down, but it's a trip that we made regularly, and so it wasn't any big to do. So we walked to Villiage Inn, and it's probably 2 a.m, because all the bars are letting out 2 a.m, right?
Sure.
Yes, thank you. It was probably around 2 a.m. Bars are letting out. And so we walk in, and the typically very dead at 2 a.m. Villiage Inn is just hopping. There's probably 30, 40 extra people there than what are typically there at that time of night. And so we all walked in, waited to get our table, talked to the manager who we befriended, and we were ended up seated in a square restaurant, if you will. The wall, I guess you could say, closest to me is big windows. Then there's a large round table, a small square table, and some small square tables put together as a buffet table right next to each other. At the small square table was myself and my 3 comrades. And at the circular table was a large Italian family, very inebriated. Very inebriated. Sweet mother of God. And at the long buffet created style table was a group of women who were having dinner after having had a bachelorette party, as was apparent by the fact that hold that thought. At the restaurant made buffet table behind us was a bachelorette party, a woman, indicated to us by the fact that one of them was wearing this sash.
Uh-huh.
This exact sash. Like, it's still got bloodstains on it. This sash.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to be careful with it because it's a piece of shit. And this party was going on, and so one of the waitresses comes out carrying a large tray of water, and this waitress is very clearly in some form of distress because she has a brace on her wrist. And, you know, big heavy tray held back like this, brace on wrist, not a great combination. So she trips and she dumps over a couple of water glasses. One of the water glasses spills onto the table. And, God, none of you were there. I could tell you that a dragon flew through the window and you'd believe me.
No, I've heard the story enough times to know that that's not the case.
Shh, dragons.
Okay.
But she dumped and one of the water glasses fell onto the table, and the bachelorette in question lost her mind, going on and on and on and on about how the waitress did it on purpose. And waitress is trying to explain to her, it's an accident, it was just water, it could have been worse, accidents happen. She was being politically correct in saying, calm your tits. And so, rather than being calm, the Bachelorette in question picked up things and started throwing them on the floor in front of the waitress, claiming that they were also accidents. Clearly they were not. And,
Thank you for clarifying.
Clearly they were not. And some accusations were made, some swearing was thrown about. The manager came out, told everybody to cool their jets. She sat back down, waitress cleaned everything up, swept up the glass, put it on the tray, took it to the kitchen. We thought it was done with. It's that moment where you're in your friend's house and your friend's parents start yelling at them and you don't know what to do, so you just sit there. That's how everyone else in the restaurant felt in this moment. It's terrifying. But, and the aforementioned large table of Italian, this large Italian family who's so far past drunk, are sitting beside us. And one of them made a comment to us, to one of my friends. The nutso Bachelorette who was behind us thought that we were talking about her and her brash ways. And because of which, she started picking things up off the table and throwing them at the Italian family. Mistake number 2. Throwing anything at drunk Italians. But, in an effort to protect us, a man who can only be described as a tree in a blue t-shirt stood up and started throwing things back. And using the breadth of his shoulders to protect our friends. He was a very large man. Like I said, tree in a blue t-shirt. Okay? And so...
Now.
That's my boy.
Sorry.
And so, this guy is defending us, you know, with his life, so to speak. He's keeping things knocked away from us because we've almost been hit with several flying objects. The jelly caddy in the middle, glasses, menus, salt, pepper shakers, whatever she could get her hands on. And so her friends finally just drag her out of the restaurant. And the large Italian man makes sure that we're okay, checks on his family, like, management comes over, talks to us, talks to them, makes sure everybody's okay. We look to our side, and this woman's trying to get back into the restaurant, but her party of, like, 10 is, like, pushing her out. Okay, whatever. And so, we ignore everything. We start picking things up off the ground, the ones that aren't broken. We start picking them up and putting them on trays so that they can be taken out of the dining room. And in this order, and all within, like, nanoseconds of each other, I hear a scream, I hear a crash, I see my friend Julian, who's sitting across from me, lean back away, and I feel myself being hit in the back with a small object. And, I may still have that, too.
Continue the story, find it later.
But, I may have another artifact for you to photograph for realization's sake. Realism's sake.
Story.
But, I turned around to realize that the thing that I was hit in the back with was a chunk of 1/4-inch glass. The nutso woman in question had gone out and continued to fight with the Italian family through the window, and that wasn't good enough for her. So over a booth of 4 people, she shattered a 1/4-inch window, not by putting any real force into it, just bam, both hands flat on the sides, nothing in her hands, shattered it. Shattered it enough that it went across the restaurant and hit my friends and I, who were sitting probably a good 6 feet away from the first set of booths, which sits 4 feet away from the windows.
Somewhere.
Oh, God.
And
Math,
so,
10 feet.
about 10 feet away. That's some distance. Otherwise, thought that it would just, like, boom, shatter. No. But the people sitting in the booth that were injured, the manager called on us to stay and help clean up the glass. We stayed. We gave police statements. This woman was promptly arrested. And when our favorite manager in the entire world, her first name is Carol, when she announced to the restaurant that they were pressing charges, everyone cheered. The way you cheer in a theater cheered. And it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
What is
And what did you do afterwards? Did you just like...
We left the restaurant,
Rockstar.
and we went home back to Rait. We opened the doors and we walked upstairs, and there were two guys standing there, and they said, "Dude, we just had the craziest night." And in synchronicity, as Raitos typically do, the four of us that had just come from Villiage Inn said, "Bullshit." No, you didn't. So they told us their night, and we told them ours, and they bowed to us.